Happy New Year! I hope you've recovered from whatever frivolities accompanied celebrating the Earth successfully orbiting the sun. I'm still working through an ice cream sandwich hangover, so if that gives you any idea how cool I am, you're probably right. But this is the season of making and breaking resolutions, so in that spirit, I've got 3 resolutions that might actually help heal the climate crisis. Now, there are loads of little things you could pledge to do this year for the environment, but the eternal self-sacrifice, don't eat meat, be more conscious about what you buy, turn off the lights, don't fly, etc., etc. Now, don't get me wrong, lifestyle changes are important. They signal to those around us and to ourselves a commitment to the environment. But they are hard, and honestly, in this great big world we live in, they don't do that much. So what can you actually do? What'll make a real meaningful difference? Number 1, vote. And this doesn't just mean in the 2016 presidential campaign if you're in the US. While national elections are incredibly important, your senators, congressmen, and other officers at the local level can be a lot more hands-on. They're the ones voting on what power plants get built, on zoning ordinances for new solar power plants, how garbage and recycling is sorted, or whether or not your city introduces composting solutions. Not to mention, oftentimes your local ballot will have citizens initiatives and other measures that decide if money is allocated to more parks or nature preserves. So it's important to know when you vote, where you vote, and how to vote. So if you're able, register and get to the polls. Number 2, direct action. Direct action can be anything from signing a petition to protesting a new coal plant, or calling your representatives about the bills that they're voting on. Now, if you follow resolution number 1, you elected them. They represent you. And it's important that both you and them don't forget that. Direct action works. The proposed KXL pipeline will never exist to pump tar sands out of Canada down through middle America. Microbeads aren't going to exist in our soaps in the US anymore. Almost 200 countries signed on to combat climate change at the Paris climate talks. Shell pulled its Arctic drilling plans. Coal plants are increasingly being shuttered, and countless schools, people, even countries have divested from fossil fuels. A cynic might say these are financially motivated, but that's not entirely true. We put bodies on the ground and we got results. There are loads of great organizations out there running campaigns day in and day out to make it easier for you to get involved in local, national, even global politics and actions. Number 3, educate. For me to truly participate in direct action, I need to know who or what I'm voting for and protesting. Which is why this 3rd resolution, while it probably won't have any effect on the quantity of dissolved carbon in the atmosphere, is probably the most important to me. Educate means knowing who is running for office and what they stand for, and educating yourself on the science of climate change, understanding how policy, human psychology, and the science all fit together to influence and describe our behaviors. Where is all this carbon coming from? How are average atmospheric temperatures warming? Why does it feel like no one is doing anything sometimes? And what does that mean for our future? And you're like, whoa, hold up, that sounds like a lot. That's like 4 master's degrees? Which, fair, I may be setting my sights kind of high on this resolution, but the best part, you only gotta do what you have time for and you're interested in. So if you're all about reef health and keeping ocean pH and temperature stable so all those polyps don't die, awesome, learn about that. Or if you're big into policy and wanna know about zoning for renewable energy sources or the tragedy of the commons, boom, do that. Which is where my New Year's resolution for myself comes in. I want to help answer some of those questions. So if there's anything you want to know or already know and want someone else to explain it to your friends with fancy graphics, let me know and I'll make a video. Otherwise, I'm just going to start going through my old college textbooks. So, to refresh, environmental resolutions to make 2K16 the greenest year yet. 1, vote. 2, direct action. 3, educate yourself. And others. As always, there are loads of links down below for my favorite organizations offering rocking campaigns, some resources for figuring out all the complicated voting stuff, and some great places to start if you're down for learning all the things about the environment. Like the video if you liked it, subscribe if you want to hang out with me this year, and I hope your 2016 is off to a great start. Bye!